So, Perchy, tell us about your day, mate, because the last thing I heard is you've been rammed. Then I was thinking about your girlfriend, not in that way, but you said that you've been rammed. So, what's going on?
I mean, the Harry Kane stuff. I mean, it's one of those things, really. When something like that comes out, as a content creator, it is brilliant because you've just got loads, and everyone wants an opinion, and everyone wants to talk about it. But when you've got to manage your day-to-day job in the middle of all of it, it's quite hectic.
Tell me about it, mate. So, if if no one actually know, or if there's anyone listening, the 300 or so listeners that downloaded this thing so far, if you don't know, Tottenham Hotspur have agreed a fee with Bayern Munich, and now it's down to Kane if he wants to go. Have I got that about right?
Yeah.
Right. So, Ross, hello. It's the first time you're on here, right?
Yes, thank you very much for inviting me, James.
It's all right, mate. Well, James and Perchy.
James and Perchy. Sorry.
Yeah, Perchy was more interested in having you on than I was, to be fair. So, how do you feel, mate, about this?
I'm very, to use a big word, ambivalent on it all. I'm probably older than both of you at 41, but
no,
it's very funny. I find it very funny, all this, because I look at it as a few things. Levy's kind of buggered everything up by actually accepting a low bid. It's such a low bid if it was around the £90 million mark, because there's so many variants. A minute ago it was 100 million euros, and it's 100 million pounds. It's like, well, which one is it? Kane should have said something earlier, I think. But if he goes, he goes. I've said this all along. If he goes, the club will still be there. I don't want him to go, but if he goes, he goes. Levy has a lot of accountability towards all this. That's all I'm saying on it.
Why?
If he did bugger off last weekend, then he should have said, look, if you're not going to pay this, then no, you're not getting him. But I mean, look, Bayern have been like little children about this. Because last season, one of their players, Joshua Kimmich, was linked to Barcelona, and they had a go at Barcelona for talking about Kimmich in like press conferences and out loud, and then they were really upset by it. But they're happy to talk about Kane out loud with Early Hunas rattling on about mindless chatter.
Right, so Perchy, I'll come in a minute, mate. But I just want to. So number one, you're definitely not older than me. I'm 44, and I remember in the 90s going to Leicester Square in the Hippodrome. It was full of Euro boys, and it was. I know we live in a woke world, so I'm sorry if I've just upset anyone. But yeah, just a bunch of Euro boys who would tuck their shirts in and laugh at you. But then if you said anything to them, they would get really offended. For me, Bayern Munich are just a Euro boy from 1997 in the Hippodrome in Leicester Square. That's what they are to me. I mean, there's no difference at all. But I don't really care about them. I'll tell you how I feel, right? And so all my assumptions, and I don't like assuming things, but all my assumptions about Daniel Levy, I think, are correct. And I mean, I'm a business owner. Obviously, I don't have the type of businesses he has, but when you're dealing in business, sometimes you have to remove emotion. A lot of times, for instance, I might have a superstar employee who comes to me and says, listen, I really need a rise. And I give him a rise, and they say, yeah, but I was looking for double. And if I do that, then I'm putting my business maybe in jeopardy, which means that I've got another 15 mouths to feed, and I'm not going to do that for one person, right? And so sometimes you have to remove the emotion from it. And to me, what it looks like is Daniel Levy clearly said, even 2 years ago to Manchester City, this is the number. If you get it, we automatically accept it. And I think he said the same thing to Bayern Munich. And they've accepted it. And so whether it's 3 minutes to season opener against Brentford or 3 days, it doesn't matter to him. I mean, it matters. On some level, I'm sure it matters. But it's, no, you've hit my number. Good. Now we have until I can see him rubbing his hands together. We've got until, when's the end of the deadline? Is it end of...
First of September, isn't it?
Right, so...
Friday night.
Right, so he's got 3 weeks.
In a day.
3 weeks to rub his hands together and go, this is my time, this is when I shine. I don't think he thinks like that either, let's be honest. But I really believe that that's what's happened. It's like, you've hit the number. That's it. It's done. This is a business deal. This is an asset that you want. I valued him at this price. You've matched it. Thank you very much. And it's a shame. It's a shame that our chairmen don't sometimes have that emotion that we have. But it is what it is. And now I suppose it's up to Kane to decide. So Perchy, Mr. Perchard, where do you stand on this?
Well, I mean, let's be honest. I think me and you have spoken on here about this Kane saga. It feels like we're finally going to get a resolution on it. I've been very honest in my approach on this. It's either he signs a contract or you sell him. For me, there was never an in between. I said this all along. I've been straight with it all. Now, and what you said is right. The fee was anything north of £100 million. That's now been offered. It's been accepted. Can
I interrupt? Because I've been so busy, right? And it was just because I looked at my phone when the Athletic notification came through that Ornstein said, is it actually £100 million? Is that what they're reporting?
120 million euros, which is just about £104 million, give or take.
Wow.
So the fees there, it's been accepted. Now it's on Harry Kane to make a decision. Listen, and I'm going to say this, and listen, this is not putting my love of Harry Kane as a football player aside. I think if he doesn't go now, I genuinely will say this and say, why have you allowed this to happen then? Because if you didn't want to go, why have you allowed the new manager to deal with every single press conferences, having idiots from Munich come over with Kane number 9 shirts in press conferences? Every interview, it's what's the new future on Harry Kane? Like in his first interview press conference, that's all that was being spoken about. Not about what is your thoughts here being at Tottenham, blah blah blah. I think the manager's been let down with this, and it's two people in Harry Kane and Daniel Levy. I mean, you well know I'm not a massive fan of Daniel Levy. But the one thing I am is I always try and put the critical side of things in this, in my opinion. For me, the critical side of it is not everyone's got to pick their side. You either want Kane to go now for 100 million quid, or you want him to stay and see out his contract. But that's fine. You're allowed to do that. As fans, we're all allowed our intentions to do that. But there's a big but in this. You can't jump over the fence once the transfer window closes. And when I say that, when we say that is then in 12 months' time when we're not signing, we're not spending loads of money, and we're not spending 150, 100, 200 million quid in transfer windows and X, Y, and Z. And we still, for example, like now, we're not signing a centre half. We're not signing this. We're not signing players that we need right now. Daniel Levy has every right to sit back and go, well, what do you want me to do? You didn't want £100 million for a player that's 30, has 9 months left on his contract, and then you're letting him. You want him to go on a free, and I use the same when I say on a free that potentially could go to Chelsea. I'm not saying he will, but potentially could go to Chelsea. And on that note, that worries me that people allow that to happen. If people are happy for that, listen. Going to Bayern Munich, it salvages anything from to go to any other English club and go and score against us. It allows us to go and reinvest now. Listen, but the one caveat I will have on this, and it won't happen because I think it will be career suicide for Daniel Levy if he doesn't go and invest in 3 or 4 players between now and the end of the window. When someone said to me, yeah, but you know what he's like about signing players. Well, no, but we spend money. We just spend money badly. Now it's all about, we've got a new approach, we're signing younger, hungrier players, and from what we're seeing in the sort of games that we've watched, it's been good, no?
Yeah.
We're liking what we see. So, what I think we're using the Harry Kane saga, and everyone's batten down their hatches, and they're all in their, they're in their army tanks now, trying to shoot at Daniel Levy for accepting it. But then you can't. Then you have to say, fine. But in 12 months' time, you can't now use the narrative that we can't go in and spend loads and loads of money in the window next and buy. If everyone wants the shopping list is massive, then you go, no, hang on. You didn't want £100 million 9 months ago. I always say you can't have your cake and eat it. You stick to your opinion now, and everyone's got to stick to it, whether you want to keep him or if you want to sell him. But you can't have it both ways.
So I'll give you this scenario, right? You've got I think he lives either in St John Wood or Hampstead somewhere. So Kane goes to Levy's house and he's there and he goes, listen, they said that they're going to offer this, but you've told me and you've told Postecoglou that you want to stay now. And I'm not going to do his accent. He goes, yeah, well, I did it so terribly. Yeah, I'm going to stay. And he goes, all right, so do me a favour so that we can show some kudos. We'll say that we've accepted it. And then Harry looks a bit, confused. And then you just say you want to stay. And then Harry holds out his hand and he goes, gentleman's agreement. That's a really terrible, impression, right? I can't do it. Majestic can do it really well. You breathe through your nose, basically, or talk through your nose. And can you imagine that? So there's some sort of agreement there. I haven't articulated this well, have I? But I don't know if he's going to go or not. Ross, what do you think? I mean, before we started recording, what did you tell me? What was the pantheon of news telling?
Sky Sports News saying that typically it's gone off now, that he's leaning towards staying. It's increasingly likely, that's the words they're using, that he's going to stay, and that the way that. But now I'm getting conflicting reports about why. I think he's upset about the way Bayern have handled it, with, as I said, Uli Hoeneß coming out and going, well, we want him. And basically, the worst thing is, who can you believe these days? Because the other day he wasn't going to go, and then it's up until Friday. There was meant to be a deadline last Friday. And you get to the point where you honestly, you just go, I don't care, just go or stay. But he needs to come out and say it. He can't, as Perchy said, he can't keep letting other people just talk for him. Come out and say something. If he wants to leave, leave. There's so many people that do this.
You're spot on with that. But look, use an example. Sorry, I don't mean to jump in, but
go for it.
Use your example of Heung-min Son. I know it's slightly different. It's a slightly different debate because it's different. It's a different thing. But all the reports came out that Heung-min Son to Saudi Arabia, that a deal is being offered to Son's thing about a potential going on a free at the end of next season. Potentially they could do it now. 24 hours later, his representatives have come straight out and gone, Son has no intention of leaving Tottenham right now. Boom, sorted. No more noise about it. And that for me is the problem. At the moment, there obviously was an intention for Kane to leave. Whether or not, whatever the issue is now, but it's dragged so many people through the mud in this at the moment. It's not helpful.
I can't understand I'm sure that other pods have said this. In fact, I know they have, so I've listened to some of them, but in 12 months' time from now, not even 12 months, sorry, in 10 months from now, because it's last day of May that his contract expires on, he holds all the cards, he holds the cloth, the table, and the barmaid. No one can do anything to him. He can set his own destiny. And yeah, of course, you go to Bayern Munich, you're going to win a few pots, 100%. Maybe you'll win the Champions League, or you'll have a better shot at it than at Spurs right now. Yeah, that's obvious. But with a kid on the way, or has the baby come? I'm not too sure. That's the fourth kid. He's got a settled family, a very young family. I don't understand it. At the beginning, sometimes when someone pisses you off, and when we're all younger, and we think we're going to do this and it'll really get back at them. That's sort of what it looks like to me, but I don't think it is that against Daniel Levy. I don't think he's that kind of person. I don't know him. But I don't understand the Bayern Munich thing. I understand them going, balls to the wall for it, because there's no way, well, very little way that they're going to end up signing him in 12 months when he's got Real Madrid, PSG and any other club that he wants to go to. He can go for free. And he'll get a signing on fee. Instead of them having to pay 150 million, whatever, he can settle for, I want 60 million in cash. I then want a yearly signing on fee of 10 million, and I want 500 grand a week, and they'll give it to him.
Yeah. But no, James, I agree with you, by the way. Like, for Harry Kane, the best situation for him is to go on a free next year. I agree with you. But just come out and say it. And I said this, I was just on a space just a moment ago, but I was running a little bit later, and I just said to him, I said, if Harry Kane 6 weeks ago said, I'm going to honour my contract with Tottenham, however, I at this moment I won't be re-signing a new deal. It could change, but right now I'm not. But I will honour my contract. I've gone, fair enough. Yeah, we might lose him on a free, but at least we know where the land lies. Where the land lies. For this, it's, well, he's obviously wanted to go. He's kept quiet this whole thing, and the manager's had to deal with it. For me, I didn't like that.
Yeah, I mean, he's sort of been like that though, hasn't he, throughout his whole career? If you noticed, it's not just a new thing, it's just the way. But some people are like that, I mean, I tried to give an analogy earlier of a gentleman's agreement in Hampstead, and I butchered it, so who am I to talk? But I don't know, Ross, what do you think, mate?
I've been racking my brains all day about all this. It's I'm getting to the point now where I'm honestly not certain which way I go with it. Honestly, what do you think, James? Come on, what do you think?
I think the following happened. From people that I know who know him, they don't know him very well, but there are some people that we've done business with who know him, who have done. Basically, he's done some campaigns with them, okay? And what they say is that he is such a lovely person, and he will talk to you and make you feel comfortable. He's not like, he doesn't view himself as a celebrity. He's not that kind of person. And so, bearing in mind if he is that kind of type of character, then I think that what happened was Bayern Munich made an approach, and he comes from a good family, and so he said, let's listen to what they have to say. And so they said, listen, we want to do this, we want to do that. And it sounded really interesting. Remember, he's only ever been at Tottenham, right? He's never been anywhere else. He doesn't know what it means to be transferred and blah, blah, blah. He's been at Tottenham and that's it. And so there's this new shiny thing that comes along. And I think it did intrigue him, especially when there were reports, and I'm sure they were real, that he went to either Tuchel went round his house or he went, I don't know, someone went round each other's houses or whatever, and they spoke about the vision and the strategy and whatever. And I do this with my company, when I'm trying to hire someone, I do the same thing, and we try and wow them, and normally it works because it's like this new shiny thing, and if they're joining us, they're normally going up a level, and so. To him, it's like, yeah, I'm joining one of the biggest clubs in the world, or I would be. But then there's this whole thing in between. And then I think that, just like everyday life would be, his wife probably said, yeah, Harry, you do what you think is comfortable. I've got a little one on the way, and, we can try and make this work if that's really what you want to do. But then give it a few weeks. And then you start to see, I mean, I'm sure we all have misses. I mean, I do. She's a Mediterranean one as well. I know that Harry's isn't, but sometimes emotions run high, and especially when you're pregnant. And then it's like, what? You're gonna fucking leave me? Can you imagine when she's about to drop the baby? You're fucking going to Germany. You in your lady house, and you're not going fucking anywhere. You're not going. Can you imagine, right? And so, I think that what's happened now, I don't think he's calling it because of the way Bayern have acted. Oh, trust me. I mean, I don't think Tottenham right now with the whole former owner thing is a lot better than what's happening here. I know you can say it's not football related and whatever. You know, all football clubs have their demons. I don't think it's that. I just think it's the family situation and the fact that other people, when they got air of the fact that he could go to Bayern, have said what we've said. Mate, you will hold all the cards in a year. You may end up loving it again at Spurs. You may find that new breed of life. And then Postecoglou's probably said the same thing to him. You know, just give me 12 months, mate. And let's see what we can do here together. And all of this coupled together has probably made him say, I don't know if I want to go now. And that's what I think's happening. But I do believe that if indeed a deal has been accepted, then I think if it's going to happen, it will happen by tomorrow. It won't drag past that. And if we don't hear anything by tomorrow and we see him playing for Brentford, I don't think he's going to go.
No, I agree. I think on the subject of advice, his brother doesn't help, I don't think. I just get a feeling, and this is from a mile away, by the way.
I would have dropped my brother like a stone if he had told me to sign a 6-year contract.
Oh, God, Charlie, what did you do, fella? Oh, could you imagine? Levy must have just been going, you've sent him. Wow. Wow. Right, scrap that. 6-year deal, no break clause. Yeah, but, we'll give him what he wants every week. Yeah, that's fine, but no break clause. 6 years, wow. And, what a worse piece of advice. But I totally agree. He should, if I was his advisor right now, I would be saying exactly what you just said. Give Angie a year, see what he does. Because if you go and Spurs fly up still, even without you, you're going to kick yourself. Give him a year. If it's not progressing as you want, you get a massive signing on bonus from, say, Real Madrid. You get to play in their tarted up stadium because I think the Bernabeu's just been fixed. You get to play in Champions League. You've got Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo, maybe Modric and Bellingham, all these players as well. Go there. But Bayern Munich, they've got some good players, but again, I think as both of you said, and I think as you said, a lot of podcasters said, it's a very weird club. They're called FC Hollywood in some aspects, and you can see why. And it's not. I don't know. It's just a very peculiar place to go. And I mean, PSG would be a big no. Italian clubs have got a lot of financial issues at the minute, so I'd say Real Madrid would be the best place for him if he was to go.
Yeah, and I think that we'll know like in the next day. I don't know. Has anything happened since we've been? I mean, it's in Cyprus. It's 6:25 p.m. It's boiling. What is it? Nearly 4:30 in the UK. Barcelona, and this is like across. Well, if the Brexit wasn't even involved, it was like an EU pod. Yeah. So it's I don't know, mate. I mean, it is what it is. Do you know, if he goes, he goes. Now, go on.
I was just going to say, I think the deadline for me will be, if he's playing against Brentford, I think he'll stay. It will be all down to that, in my opinion. I think if he's playing in the Brentford game, then he's going nowhere. And that for me will be the litmus test.
So let me. So when this is the third time I mentioned it, when I tried to do the whole, Daniel Levy and Harry Kane have a gentleman's agreement thing. The reason why I was trying to come to that was that, number one, in my mind, it was funny at the time. But number two, what's happening right now, what's happening this week, is that Postecoglou and the coaches have been preparing the team against Brentford. And so I find it exceedingly strange how Tottenham Hotspur have agreed a fee. I find it very, very odd that Harry Kane has been pictured today. I did see them training with the first team. I find it all a bit weird.
They haven't been training today. They had a day off. Them pictures were from yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's even worse.
I know.
See, I'm just trying to make up any old shit just to keep Harry Kane here. All right. So let's say he does go. What do we do? Do you think that money's going to, all of it, 120 million euros is going to be invested into the team?
Has to be.
Who?
If he doesn't, oh God, I was really hoping you weren't going to ask that.
Well, I need to. I don't know. So I mean,
there's the young lad in Belgium, Orban, who
Isn't he injured right now? I've heard.
No, I don't know. He scored a hat trick in a Champions League qualifier on Tuesday night. Whether he's picked up a knock since then, I don't know.
All right. Okay.
There's not much else around in the world, and Osman won't join us.
Why not? Why not?
Because he's just won the league with Napoli. Yeah, 140 million euros.
Guys, have you been to Napoli? Have any of you been to Napoli?
No.
Right. So Tottenham is the type of place where, I mean, I told Mom, she's never actually been to England. We were going to go this summer, but we're not going to go now. But I said to her, when we drive through Tottenham, before, I mean, in the old, a few years ago, 10 years ago, you would have to lock your doors. But now it's not that bad. Tottenham is a far better. Tottenham High Road is a far better place than Napoli. Napoli is the only place in Italy where I felt scared continuously, and we were told don't go and walk in certain areas. Don't. I mean, why? If we offered him the money, why wouldn't he come to us? I don't get it.
Champions League football.
We win. Yeah. We're not in the. He's going to the top bracket of teams. His next move is to the top bracket of teams. So he'll be going to all the big names, the Man United, the Man City.
I don't think Manchester United are in the top bracket of teams anymore.
They are, but yeah, they are. They still are.
Well, commercially, yes. Commercially, yes, but not.
Man United are always. I'm not saying they are because they've just signed the lad, the Atalanta lad, Højlund. But there'll be talks of Barcelona, Real Madrid, Juventus. Do you know what I mean? All the elite football clubs.
Oh, I understand, but Barcelona don't have a pot to piss in. Real Madrid are saving up for Mbappe. I don't know where else. He's not going to go to City. I mean, he could go Arsenal if they want him. I mean, yeah, that's.
But that's what I mean. I mean, we're not shopping in the Ottoman market at the moment.
But I don't get why we're not. I mean,
we're not because we're not at that level at the moment. We might get there. We're not at that as of the 10th of August 2023. We are not in that market.
Well, but you know what?
We could get there. We should be in the gift Orban market right now. Go and get that lad from Ghent.
Let's be honest, guys. Had any of you ever heard of his name before a few days ago? Really?
Yeah.
What do you?
Have you not heard his Jaymes? Have you not heard about his story?
I haven't heard anything. I heard about him today. It was the first time. That was it.
This podcast, go and type his name in, and there's a video on YouTube about his past. I tell you what, on a serious level, the past that this lad's had. Fair play to this kid. He's gone through some real tough stuff in Nigeria. Got a break in. The club's going to annoy me. I'm going to say I think they're called Starbæk, which I think they're in Sweden, but they're one of the Norwegian. They're one of the Scandinavian clubs.
Norway.
Norway, yeah. So he played at Starbæk for a year. He was only going to be in there as a trial. Got him a trial there. He destroyed the game he played in. They offered him a contract, destroyed the league, and then got a move to Ghent in Belgium. And at the moment, he's just scoring for fun. He's a 22-year-old and Nigerian lad, and he is the real deal. And
I subscribe to someone called Zealand. If you,
that's the one. I think I said that's
it.
The one it's on.
I'll send you the link, Jaymes, in a minute. And if you check that out, you'll be like, oh wow.
Yeah, because I just googled Orban. I got the Viktor Orban, the Prime Minister of Hungary. I don't think we're going to sign him. He probably would join us. I mean,
he's one of those that and the thing is I watched that. I think it was the same one that you watched, Ross, was the Zealand one. But I watched that, but also I've watched him in the Europa Conference League last season, and already in the qualifiers right now, he's scoring for fun. Just battered the team 5-0 and he hit a hat-trick.
Yeah, he's scored like this year. He's scored 16 goals in 17 games. He's 21. He's got a great name, like Gift. God, Gift that keeps on giving if he starts scoring. But
that was my video, my YouTube, the video name. On my YouTube.
Oh, was it? All right. So Ross just sent over the YouTube thing, so I've got some bedtime watching to do. But then, do you think we need to invest in another centre back?
Yes.
Yep. Well done. And anyone else? Because I can't really think of another player. I think we're sort of set. If we do sign Tapsoba, which apparently that is how you pronounce the name, Tapsoba. So it's one thing right. And this Orban, who I hadn't heard of until this morning. And that's it, really. I mean,
Well, there's the lad from Torino that seems to have been mentioned a few times.
Who's this one?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Is he a defender?
Yeah, centre half. He's a. I wouldn't. If I was, I wouldn't get him. If it was me, I'm not excited by him. His stats don't make me very. He's not a massive. I mean, he's an upgrade.
Who are we talking about? What's his name?
Perchy. He plays for Torino. So he was at Ajax. Went to Torino for about 10 million quid, 9 million quid maybe. Went over to Torino. I don't think he's the one. But it's one of those. Listen, I think for me at the moment, I want us to sign 3 players now. Like, go and sign. If Harry Kane goes, go and sign an Orban. Go and sign an Eze, which we're linked with at the moment.
I would love him, by the way. I think he's so exciting.
I think he's must.
You would hear all the seats. You would hear all the seats at White Hart Lane. That's what I'm calling it. All of a sudden, they would all go. They would be going up. It would be like Aaron Lennon, if you guys remember that. That's what it would be like. And I think he's the kind of player that he's a Spurs player. Do you know what I mean? He's yeah.
It's a bit like when Maddison starts kicking in properly. I mean, he'll be a bums off seat type player, and we forget that we've got little Jaymes, bless him. He's gone under the radar a little bit. I mean, not inside the club, but yeah.
What I was going to say, the one thing that we will have, if we start signing this lad like Orban, Eze, these lads, what we're going to have, which we didn't have last season, a lot of pace in the attack now. We're going to start having quicker players in that final third. Solomon looks a sharp player, looks good, liked him, a lot of him. Then you bring in an Eze, got a lot of pace about him. Orban, quick, nippy players. We didn't have that last season. We don't have that really now at the moment. We have got a little bit. Kulu's not got a lot of pace about him. Son's lost a few yards of pace. Kane hasn't got the pace. Well, never really had pace anyway. But you start reinventing the way we play, and I think fans are so torn from the past that they go, we can't lose Harry Kane because we're going to get relegated. No, we're not.
No, not under this manager and this coaching team. I mean, all of us have seen the stark difference, right? I mean, I really thought it would have taken a lot longer, but over 100 shots in 3 games. I know is it 4 games we've played now? I don't know how many there are in total, but I remember before we played the Barcelona game, which didn't really count because it was the B team, but I mean, our B team, not their B team. But wow, they've really taken to it. And if you listen to what Postecoglou says, we're still not there yet. Still a long way to go, and it's normally in his second season that things really happen. So, even though Kane might be going, we said we would try and keep this one under an hour. We've been recording for, 35 minutes, I think. 33. I want some predictions, guys. Let's first of all start off with, and let's do something a bit different here. Let's start off with Brentford. Perch.
Yep.
What is your prediction against Brentford?
What, score prediction?
I mean, you could predict the weather if you wanted to, but I'd rather go for the score. Yeah, win, lose or draw, and the score. Yeah, let's do the whole thing.
I mean, the score would probably tell the answer if I win, lose, and draw. I'm going to go 2-2.
Oh, you're going for a Desmond? Really?
Desmond 2-2. Yep, Desmond 2-2.
Oh, and Ross?
I'm going one more. I'm going 3-2 to Spurs. I think Ange will start off quite almost Ozzy Ardile-esque for those of you that are old enough to remember.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was a 4-3 game.
4-3.
Against Sheffield Wednesday at Hillsborough. I think it will start off with that, and then I think Van de Ven will have a okay-ish debut. Spurs fans will give him pelters, and then in a couple of months he'll be our best player, or one of our best players.
I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be one of our best players. I think he's very young. He's very raw. I think he's got a good 3 or 4 years before he starts to mature. If we're lucky enough and if he matures quicker, that's better for us. But I don't know. I'm old enough, mate, now to just give players a chance. I don't get on their backs anymore. I mean, if they wear our shirt and I support them. I don't care. I support the person who wears that badge. And if I see anyone on the street and they've got a Spurs shirt on, I go and talk to them. That's just the way it is. You know, we're part of this family. So I don't understand anyone who hates. Honestly, I don't get it. But I remember it was August, I'm going to say the 14th, 1994. I was in Harrow in London when Spurs played Sheffield Wednesday. And I was in a basement in Harrow. I remember it very well. I was 15. Yeah, I was 15. And listening to 1548 Capital Gold with Jonathan Pearce, who was doing the commentary. And I was so excited. And I've got a feeling that this game won't be too much like that. I still think we are second half Tottenham. I don't know if you've noticed that, but I've got a feeling that it's going to be a high scoring game. I think it's going to be 4-2 to us.
Oh, I like it. I like that.
So that's what I think. It's not. I'm trying to be realistic. I actually think we are going to whoop them. I think we're going to.
We're going to concede a load of goals.
Yeah. We are.
They say it's a small world, James, but I used to live in Eastcote, by the way, so I would have been around your area.
Right, okay. Well, I was doing some junior work at my brother's travel agency in Harrow. It was called Planet Travel. Yeah.
Must have walked past it. But no, I think it'll be. I don't know if we're going to be second half Spurs. It depends. It depends who we start in midfield and at the back. Because I think the front three, Bayern pending, will be Kane, Decky, and Sonny. But then obviously Maddison behind them. The other two, I'm not. It has to be Basuma, surely. And then I hope so. I don't want him to go back.
I think it's Basuma and Sarr.
I don't want him to go back to Højbjerg. I don't know why.
He's going.
Well, Madrid haven't put a bid in yet.
Atleti are going to put in a bid in the next few days, it looks like. Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, we've not sold anyone, have we? Other than Winks.
Only Harry Winks is the only one that we've got rid of at the moment. I mean, you could argue the loan deals that would have expired before he was released. But I would say something though, James. I don't think we're going to be second half FC. I think we'll be first half FC now. I think, especially early on in the season. Early on, I think, because the way I was at the Barcelona game, I had the privilege of going there. And the one thing I saw in the first half, I saw high energy from right at the beginning. What I did see in the second half, I did see a tail off. A lot of players were knackered in that second half. I think you're going to see a lot of energy in that first half, and we might even go 2-0 up in the first half, 2-3 up in the first half, and really get at Brentford. And then you might see us tail off in the second half, and just the energy sapped out of us because our pre-season hasn't been amazing. That's my theory.
Right, so we've got our predictions in for Brentford. Now what I want to do, we'll talk about the Man U one later. We're going to probably start going to once a week on the pods. Ross, we'd love you to join us whenever you're free. We're going to have other guests on. So Crackers, I know you're listening. Crackers is going to be on, which is going to be a lot of fun. Spook is going to be on, which is going to be a lot of fun. Anthony Costa's going to be on, so fingers crossed. If he ever reads my tweet, there he will be. So what I want us to do is let's talk about where you think we're going to be in the league come New Year's Day. So January the 1st, where do you think we're going to be? Ross, let's start off with you. It's before we've kicked a ball in the Premier League, but I always wanted people to do these predictions when I was younger and no one ever did, so I thought, it's our show now. It's our show, so let's do it.
Be top 7 within touching distance of the Champions League places.
But Champions League places are 5th, right? You can get into the top 5 now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
my only thing is, I think Villa have improved their squad. Newcastle are getting a bit noisy, and then you've got the usual lot. I don't really know what's going to happen at Chelsea because their manager, who he shall not be named, he might work some magic. I don't know, but we'll find out. But yeah, top 7 within touch and distance of top 5.
Right, so you're sort of on the fence. You've not really been 100% with us. That's fine. Perchy, where do you think? January the 1st, 2024. What league position are Tottenham Hotspur in?
8th.
8th?
Yeah, I think I've said it all along. I think we're going to be mid-table most season. I think we're going to be there or thereabouts. Anything between 5th and 8th, I think we're finishing.
1 minute, mate. I've got to call you up on this one. So I'm just going to I'm going to Google. Well, I found this Perchy's person. I found Orban. So I'm going to do Premier League. So you said 8th, right? And let's go to standings. So are we going to be above? So if we're 8th, that means that you're saying that in the top 7 places above us, you're probably having Arsenal, Villa, Chelsea, Liverpool, City, United, Newcastle. Is that correct? Have I missed out any?
Give or take that. Yeah, sounds like right.
Did I miss one out? I don't know.
You missed Liverpool. Yes, I would have said.
Oh, Liverpool.
Man
No, you
United,
said
Man
Liverpool.
City,
Right.
Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Newcastle, and then one of maybe Brighton, Villa, Brentford. One of them lot maybe. But I think we're gonna be there or thereabout. Anything. I think we'll be about anything between 5th and 8th right now. I think we're about a 6th best team in the league right now. I think that's a fair assessment. I think we're gonna. The one thing though, what we could do, and this is my theory. The only other thing is it could be higher, is the likes of Villa, Brighton, and Newcastle having to
Exactly.
a long time doing Champions League
And Europe.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So that's the only caveat for us going a little bit higher. But I think at the moment, the first few months is going to be a very, very roller coastery season in the first half. You've got to bear in mind we still have certain players that need to improve. We've still pre-season was poor. In all fairness, I think we had a really, really ropey pre-season. So we're not. I don't think we're going to start like all guns blazing. We might do. I'm just trying to be realistic at the moment. I don't want to be one of these that goes jumping for joy, going, "Oh my God, we're going to be top of the league." No, I think realistically. But listen, James, I've said this on the podcast before, mate, and I've said I don't really have expectation. I don't really care where we finish, and I always caveat as long as we don't get relegated, which we're not going to. I don't care where we finish this season. I just want to see a stable team building now. I want to see Postecoglou doing what he does and start building the bricks for this new house that we're going to have.
Okay, so what I find is a lot of the teams that are newly in Europe have what we call non-priority syndrome or all priority syndrome, which means that they don't really know what they have to prioritize because it is difficult getting on a plane. I mean, I'm on a plane every 2 weeks, and I'm telling you now that it's very, very hard just to have an office job being on a plane every 2 weeks. It's very hard to create routines and do the things that I want to do because sometimes, for instance, even the little things, like I go shopping with the missus and we're in Cyprus and we don't buy a certain thing because we are sure that it's in the kitchen. It's in one of the cabinets, but it's not. It is, but it's in the house in Lebanon. It's not in the house in Cyprus. And this is the problem that a lot of these teams have, not when they go shopping, but for instance, we are talking about Villa and Brighton. Chelsea don't have that problem, but and Newcastle as well, they're going to have a bit of a problem, I believe, when it comes to priorities. I think that come New Year's Day on 2024, Arsenal and Manchester City will be above us, but they are the only two teams that will be above us. I know that you might think, what, James, you're talking rubbish. Yeah, I think we're going to be third. I think that come November, early November is when everything will really start to click. It would have clicked a lot better if if he decides to stay. And so I want to caveat that. If Kane does stay, we will be third. If he doesn't, we will be fifth. That's what I believe. We won't do end of season predictions just now, but when we come up to January and that week of the new year, we'll take a look at what we've said. I've jotted it down, and then Ross, you'll have to be on for that one, 100%, so we can take a look at what you've said.
Where will Kane be?
Yeah, go on.
I'm going to say it now. I think Kane's staying this season now.
You do?
I think he'll stay, and not. I think he. Do I say the line?
Yeah.
I think he bottles it. I think he'll stay and bottle it. The table's now he's getting cold feet. I think he'll stay now. I think he plays against Brentford and he'll stay now. I just have a weird feeling. I think, when you hear about when bids are accepted and then you get the, here we go, medical, blah, blah, blah. Haven't heard that, have we? We've heard the bid's been accepted by Daniel Levy, and then nothing. I think he's not going anywhere. I'm just thinking about it. When you talk about a transfer, it doesn't matter how high profile or how low profile, whatever you want to call it. Bid's been accepted. Player is flying in 24 hours to have his medical terms. There's no issues with the terms. We've heard offers been accepted, and then Kane's unsure if he wants to go. I just don't think he's going.
Well, let's just do a quick Fabrizio Romano. Has he even said anything? Because the guy normally is spot on.
He said something earlier.
But did he say after the Athletic?
No, because it was Ornstein's once. He doesn't. What he doesn't do, what Romano doesn't do, he doesn't go and nick people's like breaking news. It was Ornstein that wanted to break the news, and he said it after.
Right, but isn't it isn't it just weird that the only time we see a headline like Tottenham accept buy and bid and are now waiting for Harry to make a decision, the only time I've ever seen a headline like that was in Football Manager 2014-2015. I haven't seen another bit of media that says something like that unless it's a huge team pouncing on a really hot prospect from the Championship, for instance. So obviously the team in the Championship accepts the offer, and now they're just waiting for but even so, that player would obviously accept to go to the Premier League, right? He wouldn't. It's just such a weird headline. And I believe the headline has been structured like that because people don't know, including Harry. I don't think he knows yet.
He would have known, surely.
No, but it's what I said, mate. I think, yes, he met them. They're the new shiny thing. His wife said to him at the time, yeah, no problem. I mean, when they met, she was probably 7 months pregnant. No problem, Harry, you do what you want to do. We'll discuss it in time, blah, blah, blah. Now she's about to drop. You fucking ain't going, you're going to leave us. Things change, mate.
Yeah, but you say that, though, but then how many other players that have got pregnant partners move club, like abroad? Think about all the players that come to the Premier League from all across the world. You're telling me that Harry Kane's the only player that's ever in the history had a pregnant partner and moved abroad? No, I find this narrative with Harry, the Harry Kane saga, I feel like it's because we're Tottenham fans and we in our heart of hearts want him to stay, but it happens all the time, no?
No, it does, mate. It does. All I'm saying is that if I'm Harry right now, then I'm not just going to think about myself. I mean, some people do. I know that he's not like that. He's not like that. So he's got to think about schools, for instance. I'm sure they get all the help that they need to put the kids in school and blah, blah, blah. But it's such a big change. But you know what? If he stays and things aren't going too well in January, he can sign for Real Madrid. And they've got 5, 6, 7, 8 months to sort out schools, houses, blah, blah, blah. They've got the time to go and do it. Right now, the time's not there. It's a luxury they don't have. And because he's a family man, I don't know. And I'm not saying this because I'm trying to be like, trying to take the emotion out of it. I'm just saying it from my point of view that I don't think he's going to sign. And I find the headline was very odd. There's a lot of obscurity about all of this. Like Daniel Levy's left the country. Well, I mean, it's good that he's left the country. I don't know if you've seen what's happening on Twitter. Wow. And I don't know if any of you have done this before, but there are these, what do they call it when they do these little podcasts on Twitter? Spaces? Is that what it's called?
Spaces, yeah.
Yeah, so for some reason, Twitter only allows me to join spaces where I would never associate with these human beings in my life anywhere on this planet or anywhere in the galaxy. But for some reason, it wants me to listen to these spaces. And I turned one of them on for a good 35 seconds. And it was literally, I don't know, you know how Spooky does the voice where he seems to go all funny with his accents when he's mimicking Spurs fans. But it was literally that. It was like, oh, Daniel Levy, I can't believe he's let this happen. He's such a fucking mug, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, and then, so I turned it off. And then it was still going an hour and a half later. I thought, so I went back in. And it was another guy who sounded very similar saying, he's such a cunt, he's such a tight-fisted cunt. I thought, they've been to what? For an hour and a half? This is all they're doing? And yeah, I mean, I wish Spaces would have a better algorithm. But He's in for it, by the way. He's it's good that he's left the country if he really has, because I don't know, he's got to hide right now. And then one of the things that they were saying as well, which I found quite interesting, is that that's it. He's done. He's toast. He's finished. He's blah blah blah. And it's like, ugh. They're so happy to be right. These guys, aren't they? They cling on to it. So happy. I'm sort of Levy out. I am. I mean, all of us are, right? Sort of deep down, right? But it's just the way they articulate their stances. It's very funny. And one thing I won't do, I'll never have any of them on this show unless you two want it. No, because
they went on the fighting cock.
I listened to it, and it was so embarrassing. It was not for Flav. I mean, it was like, if I had known them, I would have felt embarrassed. You know, like when one of your mates does something really stupid.
I know the guys quite well. I know the guys have them on my stream and stuff. Like, I try and always do it. Listen, I will stand by with being Enoch and Levy out in that sense of it all, definitely. But for me, I've always stood by the narrative of how my feelings are about the way you change. For me, at the moment, there's no real. I've always stood by with this sort of change when it comes to that, and I say it to everyone, even these guys, about it. That we're selling out stadiums. What difference is it going to make? Everyone wants to talk about ticket prices, and I say it all the time. We talk about ticket pricing going up. We sold out in the first 3 games in the space of 40 minutes. What difference is that going to make? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so
Ross, I don't know if you know, so I own a brand and marketing agency. We do a lot of PR as well, right? And so because we're sort of in the know when it comes to big brands doing things, we knew that Twitter was going to become X. We knew all about this. And why did we know about this? It's the classic PR stunt. For instance, if you remember Meta, who basically Facebook, they launched something called Threads. Do you remember when Twitter was having a meltdown?
Oh,
have any of you heard of Threads recently?
No.
No, you haven't because they had to pull a quick PR stunt, which was changing the logo and changing it. If you noticed, it's a really dodgy rebrand. For instance, it's still twitter.com. They own x.com. Elon owns x.com. Whenever you receive an email, you still have the Twitter logo. So the reason why they do this, it's to basically sidewind you into forgetting about the latest news and then looking at something else. Right now, what's happening at Spurs, if I'm Donna Maria Cullen, and she's really, really good at what she does, mate. She is. I've worked with her on a very big project. I know it's weird saying that, but because of the way that Spurs are conducting themselves, that's why I know maybe she says a lot of things to Daniel Levy and he's not listening to it. But this bait and switch that we are seeing here is outstanding. How do we stop the trust and everyone bandwagoning on what they're doing right now with this proposed campaign to stop season ticket hike prices? Let's just say that we've accepted the bid. And with that, guys, I think we end the show. It's been lovely having you all on. And I think we're going to be on after the Brentford game. Do any of you have anything to plug or say? Ross, let's come over to you.
No, thank you very much for having me on, guys.
It's been lovely, mate. So you are the official Spurs Simpsons raconteur.
Apparently so, yeah. Somebody said that to me that the other day, that even your Spurs Simpsons club account. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. So where can we find you?
You can find me at, let me just bring it up, at Spurs Simpsons. Simple as.
All right, cool. Perchy, what are you up to, mate?
Oh, gosh, loads of things up with me at the moment. At the Perchy TV on YouTube, doing lots and lots of stuff. I've got loads of new content coming out, massive sort of slight rebranding what I'm doing. Keeping up daily content and stuff. Pushing 2,000 subscribers, which we're about.
Ooh, cool.
About 300 away, which we shot about about 150 in the last 2 weeks, which has been absolutely incredible. Catch me on Twitter at Perchy, or X, if it's called now, of course. And obviously like on things like Instagram at Perchy TV, which I have my Instagram account, which I try and push, promote and stuff on there. But yeah, listen, there's loads of those. You probably hear me everywhere. If you're on any sort of socials, you'll see my name somewhere.
Well, I don't know if we should call this show Snap, Crackle and Pop, because I don't know if it's coming across to you, Ross. All I can hear, like a lot of times when you're talking, mate, it's just crackling. So I'm going to send you over a nice Yeti Blue mic, I think, over to Barcelona. Can you just come a bit closer to the mic a bit and then start talking?
Is that better now?
No, it's still crack. I don't know. Ross, are you hearing it? We are still recording, so this is great content for anyone still on.
Great content.
Yeah.
You didn't tell me at the start of it when I could have fixed
Well,
it.
I did WhatsApp you on the you but no one was watching. So I didn't want to say it. I thought I'd say it right at the end.
The minute you lean closer to your mic, Perchy, that's the clearest I've heard.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Apologies. Is that better now?
No. I've still been able to hear you.
Yeah, we've been able to.
Okay, so guys, what are your thoughts on Harry Kane? We should start it again.
Who?
No, I've got to go. All right, guys. Well, listen. I think that we're going to. No, not I think we are. We're going to be on. Perch will arrange it to be on after the Brentford game, and I think it's time that we started doing this thing once a week. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. Look, I can't wait for Crackers to be on. You know, we're trying to arrange something for Ledley. I say secretly, Ledley to come to Cyprus on one of the Legends nights with Crackers presenting, and he's outstanding. I've never seen him present, but from listening to him on shows and talking to people who know him, I can't wait for that to happen. So cool. Anyway, give us a follow on Twitter. So that is. What is our Twitter handle, by the way? It's Hotspur Way Show, isn't it?
Yeah.
I really should know this. Yeah, I think it's Hotspur Way. Yeah, it's at Hotspur Way Show. And if you listen to this from the beginning, which I'm sure you did, because that'd be weird if you just like skipped the first few minutes, then we've got the new jingle, which I love. My team put it together. And I love the new jingle. It's a play on the Spurs Go Marching In. And so, yeah. And the website's coming along nicely as well. So give us a follow on that on Twitter, and we're also putting this stuff on YouTube as well now, so that's cool. Tell your friends, family, and please give us a 5-star rating if you liked it, and we will see you soon. Boys.